I almost injured myself during a Head Gravity 2023 playtest. Just almost. So, nothing really happened. I'm healthy, I can continue playing, I can continue testing, but this situation always reminds you that you need to be super careful, especially when playing on a muddy clay. So in today's video, I will explain you what exactly happened and how to avoid possible further injury. So guys, stay tuned for more.
John McEnroe.
Hello tennis guys and welcome to my channel. So I almost injured myself. I almost, let's say, tore my knee ligaments. And for God's sake, it doesn't happen. And the reason it doesn't happen, there were actually several reasons why this doesn't happen. But the main reason is you need to react fast onto this situation. What is going on? You need to really quickly adapt. But before I get into the details, and I will show you the footage from two angles actually, from the back camera and from the front camera, so you really can see what happened. I need to explain you what was going on during the playtest. So I was playtesting the new Head Gravity 2023 with the Auxetic technology, the MP and the Tour version. And I was playing with Zdenek. We were training and then we were playing a tennis match. And once again, we were hitting in a bubble hole on a clay court. And during this period of time, there were heavy rainy days. So lots of rain, lots of water. And you might be thinking that when you are playing in a hole, in a bubble hole, the clay court is covered. Nothing really can go wrong with the court. But when the rain is pouring around the bubble hole, the water is actually going around the bubble hole and eventually it reaches the ground, right? And when it reaches the ground at the edges of the bubble hole, the court sucks in all the water, and especially on the edges of the court around the baseline where all the moisture goes into the court, the clay is starting or is becoming very muddy and very let's say slippery. And that's exactly what happened at that day. And even though I have been playtesting during this tennis racket playtest a brand new tennis shoe from K-Swift, the Ultra Shot 3 clay version, which is a brand new version for clay only. The shoe has been there last year already, but they released the clay version this year. And this is a super high performance, super stable, very heavy tennis shoe with a very nice aggressive herringbone pattern for clay. And even these top premium shoes for, let's say, professionals, they didn't stop me from heavily sliding without having control over my movement. So now let's take a look at the footage and what exactly happened. So now I'm looking at the footage. So I'm serving, I'm in charge of the rally, let's say. So at the beginning, there is the serve. I go for the serve, and there is the next shot. There is the forehand, nice forehand from the middle of the court. There is the backhand deep, running forehand, and then I'm going back, and then it happens because I receive a contra ball to the opposite side. I'm running, so I'm getting back into the middle of the court, and I receive a fast cross court, a shot, probably it was his forehand, into my forehand, and I'm trying to shift all the weight of my body into the opposite direction, and that's when it happens. So when we further analyze it, what really happened is that my left foot slide a lot, and I realized at that moment the ball is going onto the opposite direction. And when you look at the footage, let's say step by step, so my left foot slides, and at that moment I didn't really felt that I'm losing all the control over my body, but suddenly it changed because the slide was too long. So I spread my legs too much. And at that moment, all the pressure, all the body weight was actually going on the opposite direction, on the right foot. And at that moment, I realized I'm losing the stability. So what's very important in this situation, and many players at the beginning of their, let's say, tennis journey, you need to learn this, and you need to learn this through these situations, is that you need to let go your racket in your hand. Because if you leave the racket in your hand, where is a racket? I need to grab a racket for that reason. I will need to show you that. Wait for a moment, guys. So when you have a tennis racket in your hand and you know that you will lose it, you need to let the racket go, like immediately, like you need to open your palm and just let the racket go, no matter what's going to happen to the racket. And guys, you don't have to worry that the racket will break or something like that, because you just drop the racket to the ground and nothing really happens, just few scratches maybe here and there. But many players don't realize that, and they hold the racket all the time. But when you hold the racket and you fall down, you then hit the ground with the racket. And if you didn't ever experience that, it's very painful. If you go like full charge over the ground, holding your racket, you will really hurt your, let's say, knuckles, your fingers, because you apply the pressure onto the ground in a high speed like this, and it hurts, and it actually hurts a lot, and you can even break some few bones in your fingers. So that's the first thing you really need to do. Just let go the racket, and you will see that. So I'm letting the racket go. Now I open the palm. I knew that I'm losing the control, the stability. Now what happened further? I'm still sliding, as you can see. The left foot is still sliding. I'm opening my let's say overall, let's say body, torso. I'm shifting the weight to the right foot, and then the right foot collapses. And it's a very unpleasant situation because there is a high pressure applied on the ligaments of your knee. And the next thing you need to do in this situation, as you can see, you need to put your palm, you need to put your hand over the ground to stop a part of your body weight to, let's say, to compress your knee. So I'm doing that in this situation, and it it all happens in a split of seconds, a split of second, a millisecond. So then I realized that it's bad actually in this situation. As you can see, the angle is horrendous. The angle is horrendous. But I knew that there is nothing wrong with my knee. The problem was with my ankle. The problem was the knee. I touched the ground with the knee, and when I touched the ground, I applied once again full force to my hand to get back and to stand as fast as possible. So many players in this situation, they tend to panic, but in a way that they stay in the moment. They still apply the force and the pressure on the knee, but you need to react as fast as possible, and you need to get away from the pressure and away from the situation. So I just try to change the overall posture. I get from the right hand to the left hand, so I kind of transferred the weight from the knee, from the legs to my hands to relieve the pain and the pressure that has been applied to my knee. And then I jumped from the position, let's say, as quickly as possible, because you know the ligaments in your body, in your knee, they are very stretchful, they are very elastic, but they work in a way that they need the fast, let's say, motion and the fast reaction. They don't like long time stress, the ligaments. They like the movement. They like the compression and so on. And they need to be really in a constant, let's say, motion and movement, and then your body really works. But when you apply a constant, long, heavy pressure to your ligaments, that's when the injuries can be very harmful. You can break those ligaments, and that could be end for a couple of weeks, even months. So that was the situation. That was very unpleasant. But as soon as I got up, I knew that everything is fine, except I was a little bit more cautious during my further play testing, let's say, because, you know, you realize that, okay, the ground is very slippery, even though I'm using a brand new shoe with a very aggressive outsole. And to kind of avoid this, you need to always put the sand, put the clay out of your shoes after every longer rally. So you need to really hit your shoe with your racket. You know how all the pros and all the players are doing, just to get the clay out of the shoe. Because when you play on a muddy clay like this, that is very wet, the clay just sticks onto the outsole and stays there. It's like it's been glued. So you need to really put it away with your tennis racket, and you will see it in the video. I tried to capture the outsole on the video, and I don't know if you can see it, but the clay was really like glued into the outsole and stayed there. So if you don't really clean the shoe with your racket, it will stay there, and the shoe will become very slippery. So guys, yeah, this was my almost knee injury, but I saved it. I saved it with the fast reactions. I saved the injury also by letting go the tennis racket, because in this situation the tennis racket doesn't really play any major role, and you need to really kind of transfer the way, the pressure that is applied onto the part of the body that is collapsing, let's say, and feels that is going through pain, you need to relieve as fast as possible, and you need to go away from the situation as fast as possible. It's kind of like fleeing, running away from the situation. So guys, I hope you learn something from this, because playing on clay is more dangerous than playing on, I believe, any other surface. That's where the most injuries for tennis players happen. It is on clay. It is unpredictable. Some courts are hard, some courts are soft, some courts have one type of clay that has these very thin particles. Some have like bigger particles, so sometimes the ball jumps wrong. You need to adapt. You make more adjustments when you are playing on clay. You move differently, and so on, and the traction is kind of limited on clay. The sliding is, for me, is more enjoyable than on any other surface. That's why I love clay. I love playing on clay. The sliding is so satisfying on clay. But you need to be careful. You need to know how to slide properly, and maybe I will show you in some of the next videos how to slide on clay, how to be confident during the sliding on clay, because many people, and especially women, don't know how to slide on clay. They are afraid of sliding on clay because it requires some of let's say courage, and you need to really go, you need to let go, and you need to trust your body, and you need to trust your equipment, your shoes. You need to trust the clay that will let you slide, and so on and so on. So there are many aspects of playing on clay, and especially people abroad, I mean in the United States, who never played on clay might be really surprised how playing on clay is so different compared to the hard court. Hard courts, clean environment, everything is perfect, always the ball jumps always the same. It's very predictable. I'm not saying it's easier because it's faster, but it's an overall more predictable environment compared to clay, which is sometimes very brutal depending on conditions. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, you can of course support me by doing few things. You can buy me a coffee, you can click the super thanks button, and you can support me through a PayPal. And if you use any of these three options to support me, you can ask me a question, and I will reply to the question as best as I can, because I will take my time just for you. You donated me, you helped me, and this type of cooperation can be really helpful also for other people, because if the question is good enough and interesting enough, I will ask the question and answer the question. I will answer the question through my next video. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care, be cautious, always be prepared when playing on clay. And as always, enjoy tennis, play tennis every time, every day, and don't forget to enjoy the manooovrlbity. Bye, guys.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious! That ball was on the line!